Welcome to the TUE Brew Review. This week we're checking out Klasa. This is a German-style hefeweizen, but it comes from Croatia. So shout out to my friend Chris, who stowed this beer on a recent trip to Croatia. So this beer has crossed the Atlantic and found its way here into the TBR HQ. So thank you, Chris. This is brewed by Pivovara, Medvedgrad, which I think Pivovara means brewery in Croatian, and Medvedgrad is the town it's from. It's a medieval fortified town built on a hill in Croatia. That's about all I know. I believe that this is one of several breweries that these guys have. It is reputed to be the largest craft brewer in Croatia. So excited to check this out. So hefeweizens. Hefe means yeast, and Weizen means white or wheat. So hefeweizen style beers, of course, have a higher percentage of wheat than most beers do. In fact, over 50% of the grain bill in hefeweizen needs to be wheat. And then the style of yeast that they use is very unique. The hefeweizen style of yeast not only ferments the beer, but it also produces some very unique esters and flavor profiles. You will get characters of like lemon zest, banana, bubblegum, clove, to name a few. So you get some really interesting character out of these beer styles from the yeast. Used to see these beers around quite a bit, brewed by local craft brewers here in the United States, but frankly, it's kind of fallen out of favor. You don't see it around too much made locally. You do see some German imports, and obviously the Croatians are making this beer, but you just don't see it around that much. Unfortunately, the style has given way to some of the more assertive beer styles. You know, the hop-forward beers, the sour beers, the fruited beers have kind of edged this out. One of the challenges, to my understanding of this beer, is the fact that it is a somewhat shelf unstable, because the yeast is not filtered out of this beer. As you'll see in a second, this beer is cloudy, because it's got a high percentage of wheat, which has a lot of protein, so that creates some cloudiness. But they also leave the yeast in. They do not filter it out or let it settle out of the beer during the fermentation process. So that yeast in there, although it produces some great flavors during fermentation, left to stay in the beer, it shortens the shelf life quite a bit, and you'll start to get some funky off flavors. So perhaps for that reason, you don't see it made around here that much, just because it's got a shorter shelf life. So if you do see it out there, try to drink it as fresh as possible for maximum enjoyment. So enough of me yakking about the style. Let's get into this. 4.6% alcohol, which these are lower alcohol beers. Again, kind of warm weather seasonal, so that's about right. Hefeweizen, Prishino Piva. Piva I know means beer. Prishino, I'm not really sure exactly what that means. I think it's wheat, maybe. And it's a half a liter, and that's a little bit more than a pint. And then we do have a enjoy by date on here, and we're well within the enjoy by date guidelines. And there's more information on the back, but I can't read Croatian. I've probably already butchered a lot of the spellings on here. Oh, and by the way, this loosely interpreted means either two spiked or two classes. I'm not sure. I tried to Google it, and I came up with two different answers. So for anyone out there who is Croatian, my apologies for butchering your beautiful language. I will try to do better. But here's the pour. So as expected, we get this nice kind of lemon gold, cloudy pour. It's going to be very effervescent, and you'll get a really nice, rich, voluminous, pillowy head. And again, because of the high percentage of wheat and the proteins that are in there, it gives a lot of head retention, a lot of cling to the bubbles that are coming up from the bottom. Oh yeah, huge bready aromas, and getting a nice little hit of lemon zest on the backside. But that is just classic hefeweizen aromas. Cheers. Yeah, it's got a nice, really pleasant citrus tartness, and that That wheat bread flavor is also very prevalent in there. I'm getting a little bit of kind of a grassy hop character, just enough to kind of, you've got the kind of the sweetness and breadiness of the malt, the tartness of the lemon, and there's just a little bit of a kind of a grassy hop character in there lurking in the background. Yeah, great balance, and very effervescence, almost like a champagne-like effervescence. Very light bodied. Again, it's a great warm weather seasonal beer, and it's got a really dry, crisp finish. It's very thirst quenching. This is awesome. I miss this beer style. I wish they would make more of it around here. So if you see one out there at your local brew pub, one that's locally made, try to pick it up, and make sure you check to see how recently it's been made, because age does play a factor. Drink it as fresh as possible. But this, even though it traveled 5,000 miles, this has great flavors. Well made. It pops with all the classic hefeweizen characters. Very refreshing. Great warm weather seasonal beer. But yeah, drink this locally if you can find it. And one thing I always get asked about the hefeweizen style, it is normally garnished with a lemon wedge. And people ask, should you or should you not? Drink it however the heck you want. I always suggest, though, maybe have them serve the lemon on the side, drink it without the lemon, and then if you think it needs a little bit more lemon zest to your liking, then you can certainly employ the lemon wedge. But that's my 2 cents worth. But I'm always an advocate of drink the beers however you like to drink them, whatever it takes to enjoy them, because that's what this is all about, enjoying great beer, whether it's made right around the corner or it came from across the Atlantic Ocean. So there you have it. Klasa, hefeweizen from Croatia. Na zdravi.